Hi, welcome to the Coffee Hour, a show that involves you in verbal interactions. We have the 2020 feature, sports with Brian Camp, and entertainment news with DJ Pete. So settle in with coffee in hand, and enjoy the Coffee Hour. Now here's your host, Frank Allan.
And a happy Friday to each and every one of you. We are here once again, and thank you because we always thank God it's Friday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Coffee Hour. My name is Frank Allan, and we are here every Friday at this time. Of course, you, me, and all of us together, your friends and mine. We're all together, and we're one big happy family, and we're going to be here for the whole hour. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is how it operates. Wherever your time zone is, it could be Eastern, it could be Central, whatever it is, look at the clock and see what time it is, because that's exactly what time we come on in your area each and every week. We get together, we have coffee, we break bread, we talk, and the conversation starts with me as the host, because when I start things going, of course, while you're all set and getting ready to rev up and enjoy the show as well, you can be part of the show, and all you have to do is just let your fingers do the walking. What I mean by that is that use your keyboard on your computer or your telephone or your tablet, right? You can type it in, whatever you want to say. I'll see you right there on the big screen. And of course, I will acknowledge you. If there's anything in particular you like to talk about in the show, feel free. We will recognize that and we'll entertain that. We talk about every little thing that you want to talk about, but I keep things rolling as the host, of course. You know, that's the job here. But we thank you so much for being along with us. We're coming to you live from New York City. That's where we originate. And we hope that wherever you are, that everything is comfy, cozy, and sweet and rosy and sunny. And speaking of sunny, we're going to give you our weather forecast later on in the program. Now, what I ask all of you to do, if you're going to join in conversation, I hope that you do, please take the time out to give us your weather forecast wherever you are. It doesn't have to be a full-blown weather forecast, nothing like that. All it has to be is maybe a summary of something just to let us know what it's like in your area as far as the weather is concerned. We like to compare notes around here. I mean, it's not mandatory that you do that, but that's something that we like to ask you to do if you would. And for those of you who are living in New York, don't worry about it. You dodged a bullet, because I will take care of the New York weather forecasts, because this is where we're coming from. I will deliver the New York weather forecast for you. So, with all of that in mind, we've got things going. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, keep in mind we come from 3 different places. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, of course, and Instagram Live as well. So I want to say to hi to all of you guys, wherever you are watching. And if you are watching us on Facebook at the moment right now, do us a favor. Take the time to tag your friends. You know how to do that. Tag your friends this very show. When you do that, they'll see that information coming from you, that notification, they'll know it's from you, and they'll take the chance and they'll click it on. And guess what? It'll bring them directly here to us. They'll see you, they'll see me, and everyone that's involved in the show. And of course, you could talk to me and you could talk to people who are in the room. You know, you could do that too. And so we have all of that. So please take the time right now while the show is young, while we're getting things started. Tag your friends right now. It could be all of them. I know you may have thousands and thousands of friends, and you don't want to take the time or can't take the time to tag all of them, but a few. The more the merrier. That's what I always say. And those of you who are watching us on Instagram, don't worry about anything. That's all you have to do is just keep following us each week. Just keep following us and spread the word around that we're on the air. And of course, we'll take care of all of that for you. Take care of everything. We take care of the rest. Now, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, now YouTube, that's something that I always encourage you to do, is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And so some people say, why would you want us to do that? You know, we don't have any money. We're not asking for any money. We don't want any money. We don't need any money. Of course, everybody needs money, but we are money free around here. So all you have to do is just take your little mouse, take the arrow, click it on where it says subscribe, click it right there, and you're in. Now, the idea of being a subscriber to this program or to my YouTube channel is that From here on in, after you have subscribed, from here on in, you're going to get notification every time we come on the air live, because you may forget that we come on your time wherever you are, right? And so if you're online and you happen to be online at the time that we come on, the notification will pop right up and you say, oh my God, I forgot. All I have to do is click the notification and it'll take me right there to the webpage or the where he's broadcasting right there on YouTube. And that's the YouTube channel. It takes us right there. All right. And that's all it takes. That's all you have to do. And so there you have it. That's all it takes right there. And tell your family and friends too, let them know about the show, because if they like what they hear, they like what they see, they will probably become full-fledged members just like you. So, and don't forget too, even when we, as much as, excuse me, sorry, frog in the throat. Even if we as so much as post a video, you will get notification for that too. So that's all it takes. And so we thank you for being along with us. And remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, The Coffee Hour, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. And when we move along, we've got things, we get you involved in the show, but also in the show, we have our own little thing that we do right here. We have our own little routine. For instance, not too far away, we're going to have sports. Now, Brian Camp is usually here with sports. He comes from Charlotte, North Carolina. We link up with him. You get to see him. Today, he's not going to be here. So he was kind enough to leave us his sports information for us to cover. We're going to take care of all of that for you. And we're going to make sure that you get all of that. DJ Pete is going to be here later on with entertainment news. He'll take care of that for you. You'll get a chance to see him. All right. And if you have any questions about entertainment, you can ask either me or DJ Pete. It doesn't matter, because we're both experts in the entertainment field. So we know we can answer all of those questions. And what I don't know, he probably knows. What he doesn't know, I probably know. Whatever, we work it out together. But anyway, you'll get a chance to see him. He'll be here live, and you'll talk to him then. So we have all of that. So since we've covered all of that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take the time right now to do what we always do. Let's raise our cups, our glasses, because after all, what would the coffee hour be without a little coffee? So, excuse me while I shoot up. I hope it's delicious coffee, whatever you have. It doesn't have to be coffee. It could be cocoa. It could be tea. A lot of people like to drink tea. They say tea is more refined than coffee. I don't know. I just like that jolt in the morning. I like to get that little kick in the morning, and and that's how we do it here. And that's why we call it the coffee hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being along. If you're just joining us this very moment, it's now 8 minutes past the hour. And we're 8 minutes into the show, and we've got a lot to talk about. And again, as I always say, you could be part of the show if there's anything in particular you want to convey to the public here along with us. We'd be happy to talk about. We talk about everything, about anything, everything. That's how we do it around here. Anyway, again, we'll talk about give you all that information about our weather forecast and all of that. But right now, I just want to pass this information along with you. You probably heard about it, but of course, this is a show that only comes on once a week. And when we get the information, of course, we get it late, but you heard about it. The legendary TV host Bob Barker, who hosted the Fame show, the game show, that Fame game show, The Price is Right. For 35 years, he did that. He died this past week, Barker, at his home. He died last Saturday morning in Los Angeles, California. He's 99 years old, and he was just a few months shy of his 100th birthday. So happy birthday to Bob Barker when that time comes around. I believe that was in December. Also, you heard the story about Senator Mitch McConnell. Well, he had another episode just the other day. He froze before a gathering of reporters on Wednesday, and once again raising concerns about the 81-year-old Republican leader's health. At a event in Kentucky on Wednesday, he was asked about running for re-election in 2026 and appeared to begin to answer the question before quickly freezing and going silent for, they say, 30 seconds. I didn't count the seconds, but the news media have different times of whenever they did the seconds. Anyway, it was the seconds are long enough. And this is the second time in the last 2 months that such an incident had interrupted a conference. And the newest thing that we learned today about Mitch McConnell is that, of course, his doctors have gave him clearance to continue to work. So he's all clear and can continue to work. He did say he was going to see a doctor before the next event, whenever his next event is going to be, but his doctors cleared him. So that's good news. I was happy to say that. We couldn't tell you that news last night because we didn't know that until this morning. But he is clear to continue to work. And I hope whatever it is that's ailing him, that the right medication is administered to him, and that he can get back on the track. 81 years old, he's still going. And a lot of people talk about, you know, when you get a certain age, you ought to retire. Now that depends. That depends. A lot of people love to work. And even at that particular age, people love to work. And if they have the physical means to do so and the desire to do so, then they should continue to work. However, this is all about politics, and people have questions about that. You know, when you get a certain age, do you still have the mental capacity or the fitness to actually perform the job that you're appointed to do? Because, you know, jobs like that, you make decisions. Like Joe Biden, you know, he has to make decisions for the country. And there's always questions about his age. He's not worried about it. And a lot of people are not worried about it. I'm certainly not worried about it. I think a person, if they're physically able to do so, mentally able to do so, and stay open. But there's always a backup plan too. That's the whole thing about politics. They always have a backup plan for people when they get sick. Sometimes they get sick, they have to lie in bed for a couple of days, and then they have people who are under them to take over the post until they return. So, you know, that's the way it goes. So again, we want to send our prayers out to Mitch McConnell, and of course to people who knew Bob Barker as well, all of his family and friends, his wife, and his children, grandchildren, the whole 9 yards. So we just want to take care of that. Also, we want to also keep in mind about the people in Florida and the South Carolina. You already heard about that tropical storm, Idalia, tropical storm Idalia that hit hard. And I was saying on the show last night, on our show that we do on every Thursday night, Talk Back Live, that I didn't realize how intense that storm really was until I saw the footage and the images, how roofs from houses were like just being ripped off as if someone just came over and just opened up a can of beer or something. You know, it was just like that. It was just the wind that made it just that easy and just knocked it right off. And some people evacuated from Florida where it hit. You know, you got the beaches in Miami, which is, there's a lot of water there. And some people evacuated, went to different cities and stayed with different relatives until it was time for them to go back. The water has subsided a little bit, eroded a little bit. That's the word I want to use, erosion. And I think people are coming back. Some people didn't quite or weren't quite as lucky as others. And some people, if they hadn't made a trip to other family members in another city, I hope that when they return to Florida, that everything is okay, at least halfway decent, to at least repair and it's all livable again. But yeah, that storm traveled a lot. And this is hurricane season. And because when September come around, the end of August and September, which by the way, this is September 1st. And when September comes around, you have hurricane seasons. It's just going to be, and who knows, there may be more to come. We haven't heard any yet on who's coming. But so far, I haven't heard anything about death. I haven't heard anything people losing their homes. Yeah, but one thing, as long as you have life, you could always get another home. So the most important thing is that I didn't hear anybody. But if anyone out there who are listening right now or watching right now, if you've heard any such information, please, relay that to me. It's just that I haven't heard anything. Maybe because I don't want to hear anything like that. None of us want to hear anything like that. So that's the way it goes. Okay, you're just joining us? You're a little late. You're a little late, but that's okay. It's okay because we're now 15 minutes past the hour right now. So you're 15 minutes late. You don't have to get a note from your doctor because I believe you, whatever the case is. And besides, you're adults anyway, right? You're all adults anyway, so you don't have to worry about sending any kind of note or anything like that. It's all good. I want to say good morning to Warren. Warren, you're out in North Carolina. I'm hoping. I know Brian told me that he got a lot of rain out there where he was out in Charlotte, and you're out in Greensboro, North Carolina. Maybe you got a lot of rain, but hopefully you didn't get too much of that storm. Now, I was thinking maybe the storm would like shoot up here, right? North, because that's where I am. I'm up north. And sometimes I depend on the weather forecast by watching the people from the south, because usually the weather has a tendency to drift from wherever the south has, it drifts up north. Not all the time, but it does. But in this case, the hurricane, it went through the Carolinas, and then it drifted out to sea, drift off the shore. And so I don't think we're going to be getting anything. However, we did get a lot of rain. We did get around, and Warren said all he got was just rain. So that's as much as he got. So, but in the meantime, I hope everyone in Florida, is, doing very well as they can be, put it that way, because let's face it, it was a tough storm. It was a real rough storm. A lot of people lost a lot. And so, we just keep our eyes and ears open for further storms that may come around, because like I said, here we are. It's the 1st of September, and this is the time where we have the hurricane season. And with that in mind, talking about the weather, again, those of you, let us know. Warren already told us that he has rain, and he had rain in the forecast. I don't know what it's like now. I guess he'll convey that to us a little later on. But if you have any means of giving us information on what your weather forecast is, and you want to indulge in conversation like Warren is doing right now, please give us that information. That's something that we like to do. It's not something like it's mandatory. Nothing is mandatory here. We don't want to make your life a living hell, as they would say, but it's just something that we like to do and just like to concentrate on. And that's only if you want to indulge in conversation. Now, for you New Yorkers, don't worry about anything. We're going to take care of all of that weather forecast for you right now. As a matter of fact, you dodged a bullet, because if you live in the vicinity of New York City, I'm going to be taking care of that right now. We have 68 degrees outdoors. Now, for the past couple of days here in New York, the weather had this seesaw effect. It had a roller coaster effect. It went up and down, and sometimes you get the rain. You get a lot of rain and a lot of a lot of storms and a lot of breezy weather. Now today it's been breezy. It was like you have to wear a jacket, and as I said, it's 68 degrees presently, and it's after 10 o'clock here in New York. So this is what we have for our New York City dwellers, you guys in New York City. This is what you have for the weekend. It's not a bad weekend, but they say the weather's going to get a little warmer as the weeks wear on. We're not finished with the 90-degree weather just yet. But here's how it goes, because we have a long weekend to contend with. It's going to be sunny today. We'll have a high 77 degrees. Winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, clear skies, low 61 degrees. Winds will be light and variable. And for Saturday, it's good. It goes up to 81 degrees. It's going to be sunny along with a few afternoon clouds, though. And we'll have winds at southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Saturday night, it'll be partly cloudy during the evening and followed by cloudy skies overnight Doesn't say anything about rain in forecast. Nothing like that. But we'll have a low around 68 degrees for Saturday night. Winds will be light and variable. And Sunday, if you're going out to church, a lot of you do, or whatever you do on Sunday, you don't have to take the umbrella at all. You can leave it home, forget about it, because the temperature is going to go up once again. It's going to be mainly sunny, high around 90 degrees. That's for Sunday. And winds will be light and variable for Sunday night. Mostly clear skies, low 71 degrees. Winds will be light and variable. And the outlook for your holiday weekend, your long holiday weekend, which is Labor Day, we've got this for you. Sunshine and clouds mixed together. It's going to be hot. I told you, we're not finished with the 90-degree weather yet. It's going to be hot. We're going to have 92 degrees for the high, and winds will be light and variable. So we have that long stretch of weekend. You guys, some of you guys may be at work right now. You know, you're sitting, standing by the water cooler, wondering what you're going to do for the weekend. Think about it. We have the whole weekend. It's going to be a long weekend, and a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of things. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are going to be, I guess they're going to be, you know, gearing up and savoring the summer moments right now, because this is all we have. We're just savoring the summer moments, right? A lot of people are doing that. And so, and what I mean by that, they're doing what they do in the summer, barbecuing outdoors, entertaining friends, the whole 9 yards. A lot of people are just savoring the moment. And that's the way that is. We thank you for so much for being along with us. We want you to stay with us. And if you can possibly do that for the whole entire hour, we would appreciate that. It'll be great to have you aboard with us. And let's see, Peter, Mr. Pete, DJ Pete, who's my sidekick today, he's going to be here. He left us a weather forecast. This is what he has right now. He's got, first he says good morning, and he says good morning to everybody. That's the way Pete is. He's a very gentle giant. Anyway, his weather forecast out in Portland, Maine, he has sunny skies, and he has high 70 degrees. So that's going to be around where we are, around 70. We get 77. He's got 70 degrees. That's for his high. And for the overnight low, it'll be 54 degrees. Winds will be out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Humidity is 53%. And so not bad. It's not bad. And Sherry out from Texas, right? She's chimed in. And she's got 81 degrees out right now. She's out in Brookshire, Texas. Brookshire, Texas, 81 degrees. So they're not kidding around out there. They're not kidding around out there. Texas is usually a warm state. That's the Lone Star State. And they're usually warm out there too. I mean, they can go as high as 105 degrees, 110 degrees, you know, and they could still do that, you know. But she's got 81 degrees for a start right now. And she's expecting a high of 101 degrees. You see? What did I tell you? The Lone Star State out there where she is, 101 degrees. That's what they're looking for in Texas. And I see in Charlotte, North Carolina, Brian just chimed in too. And he's got sunny skies out there, and it's 71 degrees going up to 81 degrees and 81 because Cherie has 81 and it's going to go up to 81 in Charlotte. And it looks like a lot of people have good weather so far. And if you're coming in too as well, and you're going to indulge in conversation, please do that. And we would love to hear from you and give us your weather forecast. So we're just comparing notes with the weather. That's what we do. Okay, Brian is watching right now. He can't be here because he's taking care of business. And he won't tell us, but that's okay. Anyway, he was nice enough to leave us sports. So let's get down with the sports, and because we're a little late running with it right now. This is what we have right there in the NBA. Let's get it. And the NBA referee Eric Lewis is retiring, effective immediately. So the league is ending its investigation to social media activity. And before the NBA finals do anything final, some new deleted tweets were revealed by a pair of then Twitter users. That's what they call it then. It's called X now. Twitter users that appeared on the show showed a referee defending himself and other officials against, excuse me, against critiqueness of their work. Now, the NBA opened the investigation to the whether Lewis violated NBA rules by speaking about officiating in the unauthorized manner. It had not been determined, just not yet, determined whether Lewis is using the account, which uses the name, I guess it's the code name called, in this case, called Blair Cuttiff. That's Cuttiff, that's Cuttiff, that's Cutliff. I'm sorry about that. Lewis has worked more than 1,200 games, counting the regular season, of course, and the playoffs of 19 seasons as the NBA referee. And let's see, the LA Lakers will unveil a statue of Kobe Bryant. It's about time, right? And they're going to do that on February 8th. I'm assuming February 8th, we're talking about of next year, right? It has to be next year, all right? February 8th, the team announced, along with the Vanessa Bryant, that's his wife, Vanessa Bryant, on Thursday evening, Kobe Bryant's number 8 and 24 jerseys were worn during the 20-year Lakers career as a Laker. He wore those two numbers, and the statue dated also ties Bryant's daughter, Janina, into the ceremony, as she wore the number 2 of Kobe, and Janina Bryant were killed. Both of them were killed, as you already know, in a helicopter crash, along with 7 others in California. And that happened on January in 2020. It doesn't even seem that long, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't really seem that long. Okay, September 1st, on this day, 1964, the San Francisco Giants. Okay, let me pronounce this name. I really wish my friend, I'm losing my mind here. Naoto. I wish my friend Naoto was here. Maybe he can help me out with this, but I'm going to do the best I can. The Giants, Masanori Murakami becomes the first Japanese player on the play in the U.S. for Major League Baseball. Now, for Major League Baseball in 1971, let's see, you have Pittsburgh Pirates in the first National League team to start a black lineup. Back in 1971, that's when they started the first black lineup. In 1975, the New York Mets, Tom Seaver, who reached 200 strikeouts for the 8th straight season. In the year 2016, on this day, Colin Kaepernick, right? He kneels for, you remember this one, this is a classic. He kneels for the protest during the national anthem before the preseason game, and objecting to racial injustice and police brutality in the United States. Now, birthdays on this day. In 1926, Rossi Marciano, defeated heavyweight champion, was born in Brockton, Massachusetts. And he was born on this day in 1923. Also born on this day in 1956, Kenny Mayne, a sports journalist. I think that's how you pronounce it. Kenny Mayne. He's a sports journalist of ESPN, and he's a sportscaster. And he was born in Kent, Washington. He was born on this day. In 1966, Tim Hardaway was born in Chicago, Illinois. And on this day, back in 1974, Jason Taylor, a Hall of Famer, a linebacker, was born on this day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that's this day in sports. And thank Brian for giving us that information. He couldn't be here today, but we did the best we could to relay all of that to you, for all of you sports figures. Now, if you have any questions about sports, of course, I am not the man about that. I could talk to you about anything in the whole wide world. I could talk sports, but I'm not an expert on it. Brian is the expert. If you have any questions, you could put them in right now. And of course, we will relay them to him, and he can get back to you on that, any kind of sports questions at all. If you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And all of you, thank you so much for being along with us. And a lot of people are in. We say hi to the people on Facebook who are watching us. All of you people who are watching us on Instagram. All of you people who are watching us on also on YouTube as well. We come from 3 different places. And so we thank you so much for being along with us. And shortly along the way, DJ Pete will be along with us. I also didn't mention that later on in the program, I am going to relay to you our picks of the week of the movies. Now, I do this each week. I take those classic movies from Turner Classic Movies, my picks of the week, and I bring them to you and just share them with you, because they may be one of the things that you like to do is catch up on some movies. Now, maybe you're in an area, you may not have great weather like the rest of us are having here. Some who have displayed, like Cherie and Pete and Brian and Warren, you may not have the weather they're having this weekend. Maybe you have the weather that'll keep you indoors. That would be a good time to go and, of course, check out some of the movies, catch up on some of the movies that you haven't seen in a long time. And I have some I want to add to your bucket list of what to watch this weekend. So that's all coming up later on in the program, right here on the Coffee Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me while I shoot up. Oh, that's delicious. That's delicious. One of the things I discovered, now, you know, those of you who watched the Coffee Hour and watched it on a regular basis, you watch the Coffee Hour on a regular basis. You know, when we did this show in the beginning, not all of you may not remember this, but when we did the show in the beginning, we did the show not indoors like we're doing here in a studio. We didn't do it in the studio. Every week we did it on the outside. And we did it at this place called Cafe Central. Now, I'm trying to make a point here. We did it at this place called Cafe Central. It was outdoors. People used to walk by and say hi while we were on the air. And when we did that show, it was only a half-hour show. And not much went into the show technically as how we do it today, because technically there's a lot more involved in it than it was back then. You know, we got split screen, we've got Zoom, and we've got everything that you can name under the sun, and we do it all from the studio, right? But back then we just did it just plain, and it was only a half-hour show. And then we did that in the summertime. Now, in the wintertime came in, we did the show at a place right across the street from Cafe Central called Urban Space, which was a big place which had a lot of concession stands in there, and people used to go there to have breakfast, have lunch, and they open up for private parties and things like that. And we used to go there each week to do our broadcast from there, right? Every Friday. That was in the wintertime when we wanted to get out of the cold and get into a nice warm place. We did it from there, all right? Now, when the pandemic came along, that kind of crushed everything. Not only did it crush the idea of us broadcasting live from these locations, it also closed down Cafe Central. Now, I don't know if the pandemic had anything to do with that, or maybe it was just time for them to move on, or whatever the case may be, but they closed it down and they never reopened anything. That place is still there, but it's no longer the Cafe Central. And they're looking forward to opening up another place there. However, the other place where we broadcast indoors, Urban Space, that's still there. Now, Urban Space also, since the pandemic was over or subsided somewhat, as you will, since that happened, they put tables and chairs on the outside as well. So you can dine inside or you can dine outside. It didn't matter. All right. So they made a lot of changes, and even still, they're making a lot of changes. Now, we haven't done a broadcast in a long time. Now, the last live broadcast we did was like 2 weeks ago. And we did it from Grand Central Station. Those of you who may have been watching, we did it from Grand Central Station live, all right? And that was the only one that we did so far. And we couldn't do it from Cafe Central because they didn't have any Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi available, right? So therefore, you can't go in a place and broadcast and do it the way we do it without a little Wi-Fi. I just found out just yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, with the changes that urban space is going through right now, they're tearing down some concessions and building up new ones. Newer people, workers are coming in, new workers are coming in. A lot of changes have been made. And another change that they put, now they have Wi-Fi. I just discovered that yesterday. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, starting next week, we are going to be broadcasting live from urban space. We're going to go back to urban space and we're going to be broadcasting live from there starting next week. All right. Now, we did the Grand Central thing and we thought we were going to do that every week. And I wouldn't mind doing it anyway. But now that I know that urban space has Wi-Fi for everyone who tends to want to be there, and they want to use their computers and their cell phones and whatever electronics they want to use, that requires that they use Wi-Fi. They have free Wi-Fi. We found out that they do have Wi-Fi for the public there, and we are going to be doing our broadcast there starting next week. All right. But it gives us a little time to double check, recheck, and make sure that the Wi-Fi is still stable all week long, except for Monday, of course, because Monday's a holiday. All week long, we're going to be going over there and we're going to be double checking, triple checking the Wi-Fi. We're even going to go outside to see if their Wi-Fi works outside as well as indoors. So we'll have options. And so we're just hoping, I'm just hoping that that this is a permanent thing for this Wi-Fi, and they're not just testing us. But if they do, then we could always go back to Grand Central Station. But I am excited about being broadcasting at urban space because it's a safe place to be. It's a comfortable place to be. Grand Central is a safe place to be. It's just that it's more public than it is as if you were broadcasting at urban space. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing that all week long. So next week, starting next week, we're going to be doing that. And occasionally we broadcast here in the studio as well whenever we could. But if the weather is permitting us, that's what we're going to do. So we look forward to all of that. That's coming up next week. So there you have it. And I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to see what's happening. But since we have this long weekend, we don't have to worry about Monday. But in the meantime, since we're not going to do it until Friday, we still have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to double check, recheck, and just keep checking and make sure everything is up to par. Because when we do our broadcast, we want to make sure there's no glitches. Now, when we did our broadcast at Grand Central Station, the only glitch that we had, everything went smooth. The only problem that we had an audio problem on my part. We had an audio problem on my part, and we discovered what that was, why that was, and that's going to be taken care of. That's taken care of, and all of that is going to be taken care of. So whatever we found, that's why we keep checking. That's why we double check, triple check, and find out. And find out what the problem is, and that's good. That's good, because we would rather find out just by checking than to actually find out while we were on the air. Well, we did find out while we were on the air, but we found out later why it happened, and we're gonna work on that. So that's how it goes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I see more people are coming in, so we want to greet all of you, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you guys are coming in and if you want to indulge in conversation just to say hi, we really welcome that. We welcome that to say hi to us. And what we want you to do is give us your weather forecast. We gave you ours here in New York. We gave you a weather forecast out in Texas and Charlotte, North Carolina, and Portland, Maine. We've got good weather out there in Portland, Maine. Speaking of Portland, Maine, in just 1 minute from now, DJ Pete is coming up and he has information for us. He has that entertainment information. I can't wait to talk to him. And all of that is coming along. Time goes fast when you're having a lot of fun. Can you imagine that? It's coming up to 20 minutes to the hour. Coming up 20 minutes to the hour, and time just goes really quick when you're having a lot of fun. Okay, so we got all of that out of the way. Excuse me while I shoot up. Gearing up for the martinis. It's Friday, right? And I know Friday, a lot of you, I know what you guys have in mind. Friday is going to be a long weekend, so you want to down a couple of beers, maybe a couple of martinis. All right, all right. I can understand that. I can understand. It happens once in a while, right? Well, let's move on now, ladies and gentlemen. And Brian wasn't here with us, but DJ Pete is with us today, and he's going to be with us. He's got great entertainment news, and it's always good and a pleasure to have him aboard with us. So DJ Pete, we thank you so much for being with us for this Friday. How are things going along?
Test, test. Yeah, almost got the video here. Hang on one second.
See, that's what DJ, that's his first thing. He says test, 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 and that's better than just finding out you can't do it at all. We had a problem last night, DJ Pete. I went on the air last night, and if it wasn't for Brian, I probably would have just dumped the whole show because there was no audio. I had my mic muted all the time. And the only people that could hear us were the people who were watching us on Instagram. But I fixed it. Because what I did is I took the audio from Instagram and I used the audio that was missing from from Facebook and YouTube, and I blended in. So if you go online, you'll see that the show is taken care of. It's in full force. Anyway, blah, 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 blah.
How are you today, Frank? How's everybody doing out there today?
I'm doing good. I love the weather.
Coffee hour. So I got a few names this week, and we're going to start off with, let's see, August 27th, 1940. His name is Dickie Harrell. He was the last surviving member of Gene Vincent's Blue Caps. Played drums for Gene Vincent, and I got to talk to him a number of years ago. Great guy, funny guy. We're going to miss him, but happy birthday, Dickie. Also, we have a birthday, August 31st, 1939, Jerry Allison. Jerry Allison was an American musician known for playing drums for Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Some of the great tunes he was on. He also co-wrote some of the hits, That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue, for Buddy Holly. Also we have August 31st, 1945, Sir George Ivan Morrison, also known as Van Morrison. Began performing as a teenager in the late 50s, playing a variety of instruments. And I actually got to meet a musician about 10 or so years ago who was in his band back in the day. So happy birthday, Van Morrison.
My favorite Morrison tune is what's the name of the tune? He says on the radio. I can't think of the name of the title of the tune. But anyway.
Yeah. There's so many great tunes that these musicians have. It's hard to keep track of some of them here. Brown Eyed Girl was a good one. Anyway, yeah. Happy birthday, Van Morrison. Also, August 31st, 1903, Arthur Morton Godfrey, American radio and television broadcaster and entertainer. Sometimes introduced by his nickname, the Old Redhead. So happy birthday to him. September 1st, 1931, Liesl Travis Martin, also known as Boxcar Willie. That was his stage name, American country music singer, songwriter, sang in the old-time hobo music style. Boxcar Willie was an original character in a ballad he wrote, and then he adopted the name for himself there. So happy birthday, Boxcar Willie. Marshall Lytle, September 1st, 1933, American rock and roll bassist, also known for being the first bass player Was he the first? Yes, he was the first bass player for Bill Haley and the Comets. And I got to meet Marshall Lytle. He's recorded with the Comets, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, Rock Around the Clock, Crazy Man Crazy, and a lot of great other stuff. And I got to meet Marshall several times a long time ago before he passed away. Great guy, loved the fans. Whenever the Comets would play in their later years, 60, 70 years old, people would ask them, "What are you doing after the show?" And Marshall would say, "Go to the hospital." That was one of his funny things he would do. So happy birthday, Marshall! And yeah, a lot of names this week are like Marshall and Jerry and Dickie. We're all supporting musicians to a bigger name in the music industry there. So it's great to get some. I always like giving out these people's names because they made that band, they made that person's name back in the day also. And the only other thing I have is August 31st, 1973, my radio station became legally licensed and started broadcasting at 90.9 megahertz in Gorham, Maine. Now we're based in Portland, Maine, and it's a WMPG radio. So prior to that, the person who started it had a Mr. Microphone and was a college student on the campus of the University of Southern Maine, and would play music through that very low power around the dorm he was in. So happy birthday, WMPG Radio.
Wow. How old is WMPG radio?
So officially 50 years old yesterday.
Oh, you mean are you telling me that I'm older than everybody? Older than dirt, for Christ's sake.
I'm 58, so I'm not too far behind you.
Okay, well, listen here. I have some birthdays too, you know.
Sure.
On today, celebrating a birthday today, Gloria Estefan, who was originally known with her Miami Sound Machine. She's 66 years old today. You know, there are three women that come to mind right now that could sing to me forever. And I'll just lie there and just listen to them. Gloria Estefan, Karen Carpenter, and Annie Ross. Oh, those voices, they just knock me out. You know how girls swoon over guys? Well, guys can swoon over girls.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure.
Dr. Phil McGraw, 73. Barry Gibbs from the Bee Gees, the last surviving brother, is 77 years old today. R&B singer Archie Bell of the Drells is 79. Comedian actress Lily Tomlin is 84. You may know this guy, an attorney, Allan Dershowitz, is 85 years old. He's a high-profile attorney. He's 85 years old today. Actor Ron O'Neal, who plays Superfly, the late Ron O'Neal, would have been 86 years old today. Soul jazz musician Gene Harris would have been 90. Country singer Conway Twitty would have been 90 years old too. Doo-wop singer Tommy Evans, who sang with the Drifters, he would have been 96. Jazz saxophonist Art Pepper would have been 98. You may know some of these guys. If you don't know them, I'm pretty sure you played their records. Actress Yvonne DiCarlo would have been 105 years old. Remember Don Wilson of the Jack Benny Show, the announcer? You remember him?
Yes, I do.
Oh, he's way up there. He would have been 123 years old today. Jack Benny. I really love that show. Those are my birthdays of today. And let's talk about your radio show. Love it. Since we're on the subject of radio.
Let's see. So you can find me on WMPG Radio most every other Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. WMPG.org online. You can find us if you're in Southern Maine, 90.9 megahertz on your FM radio. Also find me most Thursday nights on Radio Airwaves Online, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. radio-airwaves.co.uk is the name of that.
Yeah. We're talking about Arthur Godfrey. He just celebrated a birthday. He was born in 1903. 1903, as a matter of fact. Yesterday would have been his birthday.
Yes.
Do you realize that Arthur Godfrey, what we do, what you and I do today, Arthur Godfrey did it like a long time ago?
Yeah.
On radio and TV at the same time?
Yeah. He's amazing person. I need to look up more about him.
Yeah.
And just to see what he did.
Yeah, I remember the scandalous thing with when he fired Julius LaRosa from the show. It was a big thing. There's a biography. I don't know if they show it on TV anymore, but they had a whole hour biography of Arthur Godfrey. But besides the scandalism and all of that, you know, his show, I loved his show. Come on, the guy had the morning show 5 days a week, and then on Wednesday he had an evening show, Arthur Godfrey and Friends. You weren't around then. You weren't around.
No, I wasn't.
Around then, but the show was entertaining. A lot of people, you know, some of the shows that you see today, a lot of people go to work from those shows. Like, let's say, for instance, American Idol, or what was it, the American Idol TV show. People perform on there and they get work on there. There was a long time ago. There was a show called what was the name of that show? Anyways, a lot of these shows, Ed Sullivan's show is another one that come to mind. They all went to work. And Arthur Godfrey was one of those shows too. The McGuire sisters went to work from that show. As a matter of fact, the McGuire sisters used to be regulars on that show.
I love that group. That's a really fun sound that the McGuire sisters have had for a long time.
I think when you research Arthur Godfrey, I think you're going to like what you see. You're going to find it very interesting. He was a very interesting man, you know. So check him out on Google. Anyway, it's always nice to see you.
It is nice to be here.
And I hope the weather stays as sunny as it is now for the rest of the day where you are in Portland.
Definitely. I'd like to, one of these days, hopefully I can come down to Grand Central Terminal and broadcast live with you.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Also, you know, when you come back to New York, you know, you and I are going to take a trip. I'm going to treat you to a trip at the Transit Museum.
I've been there, but I'll go again.
Yeah. You know, I sit in those old subway cars and I just reminisce. I said, man, yeah, I can't believe I actually rode these trains.
Yeah, I remember like the first time I rode the New York City subway was the 70s, and my dad would take me to a baseball game up in the Bronx to see the Yankees or someone play them. Yeah. And we take the 4 train uptown, which came out of the subway onto the L, and then we climbed down the steps to go to the stadium. There. It was always a fun ride there.
Yeah.
See it.
I was fascinated by trains back then, not too much now, but you know, it's a known fact too that I used to live in front of an elevated train station too. And I was notorious back as a kid because when the trains used to pass by, I used to throw tennis balls and rocks up there.
I probably saw you doing it. I remember as a kid, Frank. I mean, back in the 70s, there was graffiti everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the subway cars were colored up, inside, outside. You get on a train, okay, with people, and other people would be spray painting graffiti while you're riding. Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
No one cared.
Yeah. And half the doors, like they had 2 doors that would open and close like this. Only one would open sometimes.
Yeah.
On the subway car.
Isn't that terrible? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's like almost every train was like that, and it's really it's an unfortunate thing, but something I found out about that was from the 60s to the 80s was a bad time in a lot of industries because they thought that doing less maintenance meant less cost.
Yeah.
Okay. And unfortunately, it it was the other way around. Less maintenance became more cost in the long run.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't just New York City subways. It was the Navy had issues. Building construction was really bad.
Uh,
Um, things like that.
okay.
Yeah. So
Pete, gotta go. Got a couple of things to contend with, but it's always great to see you around here.
I do too. And we'll see you next time. Have a great Friday. Happy first day of September. It's still summer for another 20 something days. So, but have a good weekend. We'll see you next time.
And have a few beers on me too.
I will.
Take care of yourself. Talk to you
All
soon.
right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's DJ Pete. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's always great to see him aboard with us. And he gave us that entertainment news. I want to say happy birthday to my Aunt Nettie. My cousin Warren just told me about it. She would have been celebrating her birthday. So happy birthday. But she was always known to me as Aunt Gladys. That's who she was to me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in touch with me, please do. All you have to do is contact me by telephone or email. I'll give you the email address first. Email address is Frank Allan Prod. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. Prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for production. Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. The telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. If you want to call to talk about the show, you have any questions about the show or what we do here, or maybe you have an idea about the show you want to inject, we're all ears, we'll listen. Just give us a call. Email us, frankallenprod at AOL.com. That's frankallenprod at AOL.com. The telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. If you're doing anything on the weekends, one of the things you might want to do is catch up on some movies. So I have a few to add to your bucket list of what to watch, and I think you'll like them. Let's get started right now. Let's go back to 1955. Remember, there was a movie called Blackboard Jungle, starring Glenn Ford, Anne Francis, and Sidney Poitier back in 1955. And that's coming on this weekend. Turner Classic Movies. You can watch it on Saturday. That's Saturday at 4:15 a.m. if you're up that early or up that late, whatever. If not, you can always DVR these movies. They're available for that. And then we have Rebel Without a Cause, also back in 1955, a movie that the star James Dean did never even see. He died before it was released. And he starred with Sal Mineo and Natalie Wood. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out. That's Saturday at 6 a.m. Okay, DVR it. You don't want to wake up that early. Saturday's your day of sleep. That's okay. DVR it. Okay. And you have The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart from 1946 along with Lauren Bacall. And that's Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Our Miss Brooks. That used to be a TV series, and it was a movie back in 1956 with Eve Arden and Gail Gordon. There's a comedy, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can catch that Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Where the Boys Are from 1960, George Hamilton and Yvette how would you pronounce that? That's M-I-M-I-E. Minimex? Is it live or Minimex? Anyway, that's on Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 3:45 p.m. And of course, Connie Francis is in that movie too. Don't want to forget her. She's doesn't have a big part, but she's in that movie as well. Also, Summer Place in 1959. That new movie, that song that Brian likes, the theme from The Summer Place by Percy Faith. Well, that's the movie from 1959 starring Sandra Dee and Troy Donahue, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and there's a whole lot of other movies you can watch. If you go to Turner Classic Movies that I didn't mention, it's not that I don't like them, it's that these are my picks of the week. There are a lot there, so you can check it out. And also, you can go there and watch everything on demand, whether they're pay-per-view movies or all kinds of other things. So be sure to watch these movies. They're great movies. I gotta go. My weekend is officially underway, so I am going to leave you in the hands of the weekend. And I will be back Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be with me with sports. Other than that, I will also be back here. We'll be live from Urban Space, and we'll broadcast there. We'll be here for more of the coffee hour. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and we will catch you all back here at that time. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
You've been watching The Coffee Hour with your host Frank Allan. The producer has been Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Coffee Hour.